Coming up on the Empowered Woman podcast.
Right now, a lot of people have a lot of debt on their plates and it's complicated and it's emotional. So one of my favorite client experiences was actually meeting with a client. She wanted to figure out her whole financial picture, but especially wanted to focus on paying off debt, giving people that gift of releasing what's holding them up when it comes to their finances. That's been the most special thing to me.
Welcome to the Empowered Woman podcast, the #1 show on visibility strategies for women entrepreneurs. If you want to get empowered to be seen, stand out on social media, stages, TV, and more to make an impact with your voice and business, you're in the right place. I'm so glad that you're here. My name is Marcia Spurk, and I'm your host, professional singer and visibility strategist. Welcome again, and let's dive into today's episode.
Planning for your legacy should be empowering. That's why we've partnered with Tim Gorman, author of Tangled Legacy, Turning Estate Planning Mistakes into Successes, your essential guide to building wealth and securing your family's future. Invest in your legacy. Learn more about workshops, classes, and one-on-one coaching at dgrealtyadvisors.com. Are you ready to create more harmony in your home and connect with your kids on a deeper level? Molly Rubish, life coach and blended mom of 4, joined us to share her powerful insights on balancing energy in your home. Now you can take it a step further with her free guide, 5 Steps to Create Balance in Your Home. It's packed with practical tips to help you become the calm, loving presence your family needs. Download it now and start transforming your home today. Hi, Annie. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Hi, so great to be here.
Yes, I'm super excited to hear more about your journey and learn from you because you have lots of nuggets to share with our women entrepreneur listeners. So first, tell us who you are and what you do.
Yeah, so I'm Annie Cole. I am a financial coach and also the founder of Money Essentials for Women. For the past 4 years, I've been working at a startup and I was a vice president there, oversaw their data strategy, their research, worked closely with the CEO to do just about everything. So I learned a ton about how to grow a business from the ground up. And then this year, got to have the honor of launching my very own business as a financial coach. So I've learned a ton. It's been a very transformational year.
That is so exciting. And I will want to hear about the transition from working with a startup to then starting your own business. But tell us more about the experience. Well, and actually how you got into this. What made you be so interested in the numbers?
Yes. Well, I'm a data nerd for sure. So I was a vice president over our data and all the numbers. So I was constantly, surveying customers to understand their experience and then use that data to directly impact business decision making. So things like how to make sales, how to make our marketing more powerful, how to develop the best products. And while I was on my own journey to climb the ladder, I found myself advocating for promotions and raises, found myself trying to figure out, okay, I'm making enough money now that I don't just cover my bills. I need to start investing more. I need to figure out if I'm on track to retire. And so I just found myself doing all of these financial things as a woman on my own. And I felt like when I went online to Google to find support, there really was either you can talk to someone about your career or you can talk to someone in the banking industry. And the banking industry was either a wealth advisor or a retirement rep. And there just wasn't something in between. So that's why I launched my own business, was to help women with all of the in between, like the imposter syndrome you feel when you go to ask for a raise, or how to create a budget that leaves room for things that you value, but also allows you to have kids and stay on track for retirement. And, just all the things that I feel like are really hard to find a person to help you with.
Oh, and that is so needed because it's things that we kind of know over here, but then when the time comes for you to actually do something about it, you need to find the help. And just like what you said, there's not a whole lot of people that are qualified, or I mean, not qualified, but that's specialize in those specific things, and that would maybe make us feel comfortable, especially coming from another woman, in discussing and asking questions and all of those things. Tell us more about the process then of working with a startup, and then transitioning into your own business. How has that been?
It's been great. It was quite scary. I will say, if anyone's listening and you're a woman and you have worked so hard to get this role that you dreamed about forever, I finally climbed the ladder and got the role. And then I decided to quit and start my own job. start my own business.
Yeah.
It was incredibly terrifying, but I had the support of my partner, my friends and family, and I just knew it was the right time to try something new. So I actually, I would say I made a soft transition, which has been really nice and I highly recommend. I kept a contract with my old employer so that I'm still connected to them. I still do work for them in my old focus area, which is research, while moving in and starting my own business. So it's been nice for the financial side to have some income coming in while I'm also able to explore and try out all these new things with my business.
And I would expect nothing less from somebody so well versed into the budgeting and all the numbers to take a crazy leap, which that's what entrepreneurship is, but an educated leap
Yes.
at the same time, right? So it's not like I'm desperate, and I hear this so much from people that make these huge jumps, especially if you're the sole, family provider, or they're on their own and they have bills, debt, or whatever, is I don't want to start something from a desperate energy of I need to make this work
Yes.
month one, right? No, I have some leeway because I have other things going on and multiple sources of income, which then brings me to the question of how you help these women and how you guide them through this process. Because you said you work with people asking for a raise, but you also work with people that have their own businesses. So across the spectrum, tell us more who exactly you help and what are the different things that you can assist them with.
Sure. So I primarily help women and I help them reach their biggest financial goals. And that can really, really range. So I always focus on what the client wants to focus on. So if you want one-on-one coaching where we have three sessions of 1 hour coaching sessions, where the first one, we dive deep into your entire financial picture. We figure out where the snags are, where you want to look in, like maybe you have a lot of debt, or maybe you really want to raise your income at your job. So in session 2, we work on those two things. We maybe create a complete budget, look at how much you need to actually make in payments monthly towards your debt to pay it off. And then we also do a resume review to see, okay, how can we make you really eligible for that next level career? So it could be one-on-one coaching. I also have online courses. So I have different programs. I'm actually working on a real estate investing course right now, but I have a stock market investing course. I also have a budgeting template. And then my book, 101 Ways to Build Wealth in Your 30s, which is just jam-packed with every single tip I would give someone in a coaching session if I had all the time in the world. So there's quite a few different ways that I help people. And then my newest initiative, I always had a vision for my business that it would be more than just me, and it would actually be a network of coaches. So right now I'm building out a coach directory. So I have women who specialize in career growth, in business development. I have CPA and tax experts on staff now. So those are all people that you can come into my website, connect with me, but also get referrals to other people. So you get the exact expertise that you need.
That is amazing, and really fulfilling your mission of helping women with this information so that they're not just guessing and going into it blindly. Tell us more about early retirement, because that's something I don't think anyone here on the show has covered, and that's a hot topic. So tell us.
Yeah. Well, I am obviously a huge advocate. I talk about this all the time. And the reason I actually figured out that I could retire early was a total surprise. So I was learning more about investing. I was using an online calculator, and there are so many free ones. So just Google online retirement calculator and you will find one. I was plugging in the numbers, and as I had started growing up the career ladder and making more money, I thought, how much could I really set aside? So I kept putting in a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. And suddenly I realized, oh my gosh, I could retire in my 40s if I wanted to, if I was aggressive enough with my investments. So I think the first thing to do, if you're listening to this, go online and start plugging in your numbers and ask, how could I challenge myself to give a little bit more? And once you start playing around with that, you'll be so inspired by what's possible. And that's going to be more motivating than, I think what we read a lot online is, you better plan for retirement. You don't want to become 65 and not have money. That's not very motivating. That's very fear-mongering.
Yeah.
So instead, I take the inspiration approach of, let me show you what's possible. And once you figure that out, you are going to be on fire and so excited.
That's such a bad approach, and a lot more enticing to be like, let me see what I can do, but how I could, what is the word? How I can challenge myself, right?
Yes.
It becomes a fun game instead of you're gonna die broke.
Yeah,
That's not fun.
exactly.
So that's super cool. And like you said, it's something that you can start exploring right now. Just go on Google and plug in the numbers, but I'm sure you have resources for that as well. I know you do have a specific framework that you guide clients through, and I'm super curious to hear the steps.
Yeah. So I call it the 5-step wealth framework. It's actually the same framework that I use in my book. It has 5 main sections to it. And the first step is actually money mindset and vision. So I think for a lot of people, if we have something coming up with our finances, it's usually very urgent and it's technical. Like, I need to save more money. I need to retire. I need to pay off this debt, something that comes with the numbers. But I think the numbers should actually come later in the process, because if you are working yourself to the bone and you don't know why you're doing it and you're unfulfilled at the end of the day, what is your actual vision for what money is going to do for you? And if you don't have a vision, you're probably going to go about and do all kinds of crazy things that aren't really fulfilling you. So once you have your vision, that's step 1. Step 2 is crunching the numbers. So before we even talk about income, what do you actually want your life to look like? So what would it cost to own the home you want? What would it cost to have the number of kids you want, or the organic groceries, or whatever it is? Create a financial plan. Then we go into step 3, which is creating income. And this is where I think there are so many more opportunities than people think there are. Most people just say, I'm going to get a 9-to-5 job. Yeah. You could do so many things to generate income and create actually multiple income streams. So step 3 is creating multiple income streams. Once you have the income stream, step 4 is multiplying every dollar. So that's where you think about buying assets, investing, making sure every dollar is growing over time. And then step 5 is developing lifestyle and habits that continue to sustain you.
Hey, let me ask you a question. Would you like to be my next guest on the Empowered Woman podcast? Do you have a story you'd like to share? Want more visibility for your business on a show ranked in the top 0.5% in the world? Well, then head on over to martasburke.com/podcast guest for more information.
Wow. I love how you didn't start with the numbers, because that's, I think, where people want to start. I need to make the money now, like you just said. And
yeah,
and that's usually why they don't make the money now.
Exactly.
They don't have the vision and they don't have the planning, and oh my gosh, all about the numbers is the forecast and looking ahead. And I don't think people take enough time, probably because they're anxious. They want everything now, but they don't have somebody to guide them like you do. Now, I'm super curious about the book. So tell us the name of the book again. I'm assuming it's on Amazon. What was the process like of writing this? Did it come with the launch of your own business?
It did. Yeah. So the book is called, it's actually kind of a long title, 101 Ways to Build Wealth, Live Rich. I cannot think of the third word. So I always just call it 101 Ways to Build Wealth in Your 30s. It is available on Amazon. It's also available in ebook format through my website. And I launched it the same time as my business. It was actually a crazy experience. I wrote and published it in just 2 months, which I don't have any background writing books, but it was such an inspired thing that it came out really, really fast. And it was years of all of my learnings that I just put into a book. So it has everything from psychology practices. There's one, every single chapter is only about 2 to 3 pages long. So one of them is about money shame. So if you feel shameful about wanting money or feeling like you need to release money shame, there's actually an activity you can do to release that. It talks about how much you could save on your taxes by doing certain things, how you can start an online side hustle, how to Airbnb your home. It is so many different things. Yeah.
There is a lot. Was the next thing I was going to ask you, what are some, you already shared when you're talking about the early retirement, go Google and you can do it now. And obviously people can go get your book and they will have all of the tips. But for our listeners here who have not yet gotten your book, but they will as soon as they're done listening to this because it's so enticing already. What are some practical action steps that you can give to women to start, working their way towards the coveted financial freedom?
Yes, I think if you're just getting started and you feel completely overwhelmed, open up a journal or take a piece of paper and just write down your income and your expenses. That is the simplest place to start, having a very simple budget. And from there, you'll really know if you need to make some cuts, if you need to create more income, or if there's places where you could actually stop spending that are either emotional spending or things you've just forgotten about. So that would be number 1. And then I'd say number 2, if you can invest as much as possible every month, that's going to be the simplest, fastest way to reach financial freedom. Investing on average, you're going to grow your money by 10% every single year that it sits there. If you save your money, you're never going to build that kind of wealth. So investing is definitely key.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Now, I'm curious about client stories. I know we all have some fun ones, and whatever comes to mind in terms of people that you've helped in different situations. I keep going back to women not asking for a raise, but whatever it is that comes to mind and how you've helped them, not only with the mindset, but with the specific steps to build their wealth and to reach that financial freedom.
Yeah, I guess one of my favorites, and this tends to come up a lot right now, a lot of people have a lot of debt on their plates and it's complicated and it's emotional. So one of my favorite client experiences was actually meeting with a client. We met for the first time. She wanted to figure out her whole financial picture, but especially wanted to focus on paying off debt.
Okay.
And so I had her fill out this budgeting template and then meet with me, I think maybe a week later. And so we met together and I asked how it was going. And she said, I cried. It was very emotional. It was very much of a release, but I feel so happy that I'm finally moving this forward. And that has been a common theme whenever I meet with clients and we do the financial planning work. It's like their shoulders just drop and they suddenly know exactly what they can do. So they're no longer laying in bed at night thinking, I'm overwhelmed by this.
Yeah.
They know what to do. It's running in the background. They're making automated payments and now they're living their life. So giving people that gift of releasing what's holding them up when it comes to their finances, that's been the most special thing to me.
Yeah, and it speaks volumes about the value of having somebody that is an expert walk you through it and investing in their expertise to help you. Because when we don't know what we're doing, we feel overwhelmed and we don't even want to look at it. And I think that's, especially when it comes to finances, right? I'm not even going to look because I'm not going to like what I'm going to see. So you kind of live in denial there. But then when you're like, I'm investing in this coaching and in this mentorship, I'm going to have to be vulnerable and honest and talk about the reality. I'm going to have to look at the reality to begin with and then report it to somebody, which is, embarrassing, but then understand that that's how you're going to get out of it and see improvement. So it's wonderful. Thank you for the work that you're doing because it's so needed, especially with what you're saying. So many people are in debt right now.
Yeah.
It's, something we need to look for our future, for our kids, right? For our family and all of that. I love it. Now, what's next for you? So you have the book, you have the business, you're adding coaches and experts and a community to refer your clients to. What are some of your other projects?
I think the biggest thing I'm working on right now is myself and 3 of the coaches in my directory. We are putting on a conference. It's the first ever virtual conference for my company. It's going to be in January of 2025. And the vision for the conference is that this is going to be the place where women come together with experts. They not just set goals for 2025, but they actually have the step-by-step strategy on how to reach those goals when it comes to their finances. So it's 3 days long. We spend every single hour focusing on a different financial goal. So if you want to plan financially for kids, if you want to finally invest in real estate, if you want to make the career pivot, we're going to teach you step by step how to do those things during the conference. So my hope is that it's just this explosion of energy and bringing women together and that everyone just leaves, not questioning if they can do it, but knowing they're going to blow their goals out of the water.
That sounds amazing, especially for setting yourself up for success for the new year. What are the dates for that and how can people find more information? I'll put that in the show notes as well.
Yeah, it's in January 29th through 31st. Again, completely online. It's going to be virtual and it runs from, I believe, 8 to 4 every day. And then during the lunch break, we're also doing a live Q&A where we have a tax expert, myself, an early retirement expert, and a career coach in the room. You get 1 hour every single day to truly ask anything you want to just pop in there. And if you want to learn more, it's available on our website under the events section. And I also have a direct link that I can share with you as well.
Okay, sounds wonderful. Very, very wonderful with the different experts and coming as a group because we're talking about the accountability and investing and having somebody walk with you, right? And I think especially doing it as a group and seeing other people's goals, right? Because goals are different and then you get to take that as inspiration for maybe your next quarter or whenever, and then connect with other people that are on the same road. That is very inspiring. I love it. Well, before I have you share with us how people can connect with you and learn more about your services, I wanted to ask you my $1 million question. Are you ready?
Yes, ready.
All right, Andy, what is an empowered woman then?
I think someone who is completely at peace in who they are, but also open to completely revolutionizing herself all the time. Because I just see a lot of women either not knowing who they are, being afraid to step into who they are, but then also not wanting to shift themselves once they figure out who they are. And I just think accept all of it, accept where you are now, where you're going, any new passions, just lean into it.
Yeah, it's a constant evolution process, right? And being okay with that and celebrating it, that you're changing and you're learning from other people and your goals evolve as well. And it doesn't mean that you don't like who you are. It's just you're open to learning new things and taking it all in.
Yeah, exactly.
So tell us how people can connect with you and learn more about your services.
Yeah, so I think the best place to start is www.money-essentials.com. That's my website. There's so many resources on there, lots of freebies. We have our directory of coaches available on the website, and then you can find me on LinkedIn. I'm Dr. Annie Cole, and then Money Essentials for Women is also available on LinkedIn, and then on Instagram at Build Wealth with Annie.
Yes, and you have lots of free resources on your website as well, besides the events and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for sharing the inspiration, the wisdom, and all the advice that you shared here. And I'm excited for people to go connect with you and also check out your book.
Yep, sounds great. Thank you.
Thanks so much for tuning in today. I hope this episode empowered you. And if you enjoyed the show, please join the Empowered Woman community on Facebook and share with friends or leave a review on iTunes so more people can discover this empowering message. Until next time, bye.